In this video, we're going to talk about how to actually start eating healthier step by step. Stay tuned. The food industry has put a lot of effort into creating delicious food products for us, but has left the health aspect somewhere behind. Today, most of the products you'll find in the grocery store will be high-calorie processed products that contain lots of chemicals, sugar, oils, and more. We get used to the smells and taste and just become addicted. So we have come to a point today that anyone who wants to choose a healthy lifestyle needs to change their habits and the mental relationship they have with food. Now, breaking our addictions and changing our habits is not easy. Before I go through the how to begin list with ways to start eating healthier, it's important you understand that this is not a new diet that you're going to try. There's no destination, there's no end goal in the end that will allow you to stop eating healthy. We're going to start from the basics and tackle various struggles that may be in your way. So let's begin with number one, and I chose to start with this one because this is where it all begins, where our problem begins. And it is to learn to distinguish between processed food and whole food. As a kid, I was eating anything. Just like most people, I grew up believing that everything we have in the supermarket is considered food. But as I grew older and became an adult, I started educating myself and realized that food companies have created a new culture. During just a short trip in the grocery store, we are already bombarded with advertisements, misleading packages of food, or even free food samples that we can try. It is so confusing to know what's good and what's bad for us, and we cannot blame our parents for feeding us with these processed foods. Most of the products we have in the stores didn't exist 100 years ago, and it is very different from the food we are supposed to eat in our nature, which significantly contains fewer calories and is rich in nutrients and fiber. So the first step to solve any problem is to become aware of it, and processed foods are what led us to start talking about eating healthier in the first place. If there are ingredients that you don't know or don't understand what they mean, this is the quickest way to recognize a processed product. Number two, start eating at least one raw thing alongside your cooked meals. So we have a rule at home that with every cooked meal we eat, there needs to be at least one raw item next to it. The tiny changes are what's going to help us win the big long-term game. By taking this step, we haven't got rid of the unhealthy options you still love and crave, but it helps you in a couple of ways. First, you're still consuming something healthy in your meal. A lot of the nutrients are lost in the cooking process, so by adding one or more raw items, you ensure that you still get some quality vitamins and minerals in that specific meal. Second, it slowly gets your body used to eating more veggies and fruits without shocking your system and increasing your fiber intake all at once. And third, it takes a little of the space in your stomach that is usually dedicated to processed foods. You now give some space inside to whole foods, and that's a great start. Number three, reduce the amount of oil you put in your body. Oil has almost no benefits in your diet. There's not a lot of nutrients in oils. It's pretty much empty calories. Try to imagine the amount of sunflower seeds or olives you would need to eat in order to consume the same amount of fat in just 2 tablespoons of oil. It's going to be a lot, and all the benefits are lost in the process. It's also rancid fat that causes damage to our skin, our blood and lymphatic vessels, and there's a long list of other harmful health effects that are caused by oils. So instead, we can simply exchange the oils with lemon, spices, or other homemade sauces. And for cooking, I simply like to use water and create a healthier version of stir-fry recipe, for example, or steamed vegetables instead of fried vegetables. If you really need to cook with oil, try using coconut oil, as it is the most stable. Number four, avoid using the microwave. Getting deep into this topic is an idea for another video, but in short, using a microwave is one of the most harmful cooking methods. It destroys all the good that's inside the food, all the minerals and vitamins. The food is never heated evenly, which leaves the option for bacteria to be present, and we can both agree that the food tastes worse than when it's cooked or steamed. Plus, it also encourages you to rely on it and seek the lazy route with those packaged quick meal products that are usually highly processed. It's easy to swap the use of microwave by simply using an oven, a pan, or even a toaster. Number 5. Variety. Without paying much attention, most of us are eating more or less the same thing every week. We love the routine, and we often don't have much variety in what we choose to eat. Once upon a time, when we lived in the wild, we would migrate from place to place according to the seasons and eat a large variety of foods. Hundreds of types of leafy greens, lots of colorful veggies, fruits, nuts, and more. Until the agricultural revolution arrived and we started creating fields of wheat, corn, and other things, and our diet began to have less and less variety throughout the year. But luckily today we have a little more access to different kinds of foods in our grocery store or a farmer's market. So the next step for you is to build that variety in your diet. And the way we're going to do it is to try one vegetable or fruit each week. You can also take it to healthy fats and create more variety throughout the week. Our goal is to add a little more color to your plate. There are nutrients that are found in blueberries and red cabbage, for example, that are not found in tomatoes. So the variety helps you get a larger selection of nutrients in your diet. Let's move on to point number 6. So you made a decision that you want to eat healthier. Now the next step is to slowly clean your home from temptations. Mind you, I said slowly because I know it can be tough for a lot of people to completely get rid of all the junk food and sweets in their house. You want to get rid of each unhealthy product and buy a healthier product instead. In this process, you want to make sure you always have access to healthy and nutritious foods in the house, so that it's easier to just grab them when you're hungry. When there's a specific snack or food that we're addicted to, but don't have it in the house, we are less likely to consume it. We add more resistance to the choice of eating it by the steps we need to take to get dressed, drive to the grocery store, to buy it, and then drive back home. So if we have other options in the house already, it's likely that we end up choosing them. Number 7, think long term. There is no end goal. Now, don't get me wrong, short-term goals of losing 20, 30, 50 pounds or healing my diabetes is great, but healthy eating is a journey. It's a journey that you want to pave and walk on for the rest of your life. This is about changing the way you see the process. Obviously, food is very comforting and it has a lot of roles in our society than just fuel. So trying to be 100% perfect with our diet is not sustainable for most people. But we want to thrive for a healthy routine with unhealthy exceptions here and there instead of an unhealthy routine with healthy exceptions. We need to stop having that temporary mindset, that temporary diet mentality. We say, I want it, but I can't. But instead we should really say, I can have it, but I don't want to. Number 8, create an environment that fits your new lifestyle. Whether we like it or not, the people we're surrounded with have an effect on our habits. It's inevitable, it's in our DNA. But instead of resisting it, we can use it wisely to our advantage. And I have the perfect example for that. So around the age of 19, I used to have a group of friends that we would go party a lot. It was usually accompanied by drinking large amounts of alcohol. I would often come back home after a long night at 4 or 5 a.m. and would sleep half the next day. If you're surrounded with unhealthy people, then it's more likely that you'll be unhealthy yourself. I knew that my habits were not aligned with my desire to live healthy and strong, but it was hard to resist the temptation of going out with them. So I decided to let go. I just stopped doing it. I kept in touch with the ones that understood and respected my decision, and with the other ones, we just parted ways. And then I was able to build a new environment around me of people who work out in the gym, who eat healthy, and later who are vegans, and it was much easier to stick to these new habits because I was part of a small community whose values are aligned with the new lifestyle I wanted to create for myself. Things that may seem impossible today, like giving up your favorite snack, will in time feel possible and easier to do. The key here is to take one habit at a time and swap it with a healthier option. Hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts and anything you struggle with on your health journey so that I can serve you better. I'll see you in the next video. But we want to thrive for a healthy routine with unhealthy exceptions here and there, instead of an unhealthy routine with healthy exceptions.